Yep, and there is Shaun Chipperfield. One of those top players we were just talking about, Simon. And he's up against Jimmy the Joker, Jimmy Croxton.
Really excited. I think we all know what we're going to get from Chippy. He's a great player. Sometimes can get a little bit hot-headed out there, but by and large, he plays a really high level at all times. And when he's on, he's right up. Oh dear, that's going to start him off poorly mentally anyway. But we know that Chippy, it's rare that he doesn't put in a performance. What I'm looking forward to seeing in this match is Jimmy Croxton, and spend and see Jimmy a fair amount simply because of the Monday night show, which we have from his club or from the club he plays out of in Newcastle and Lyman. I know the time that Jimmy's been putting in since his health issues of last year. He's spending, essentially he's now a full-time player, mixing playing and coaching, and all the time he's putting in on the coaching table I think will make him a better player, because it will make him think about the game quite deeply in a way maybe that he hasn't before, how to simplify the games for his students and that sort of thing. And I think Jimmy will be a better player for it, and he's gone well so far this weekend.
Well, yeah, we didn't see a lot of Jimmy for probably 18 months. Like you say, he had a couple of health problems. But the last event of last season, it was the Pro Cup, and he went very, very deep in that for the first time in a long time. I think he got the semi-final, didn't he?
Yeah, good run for Jimmy. We have a lot of fun with Jimmy. I certainly do, and it's all very much tongue in cheek. But Jimmy was it was really serious. The illnesses and the issue he had with his foot and his eyes, and he was it was real danger of never playing again, let alone playing a level. Sort of great recovery.
Yeah, when you talk about it was with his sight. That's just, well, God forbid anybody has problems with their eyes. It's well, anything but the eyes. And it was serious. Like you say, we do have a bit of a giggle with Jimmy. But I'll tell you what, though, he's going around these reds very well. He's been reborn.
Nice way of putting it. I sort of agree with that. I think we've got a very new and improved Jimmy Croxton for 2025, but here's an opportunity to prove it.
And a simple black ball for Jimmy. In it goes, and it is the Joker, who now has the early lead. Jimmy Croxton, business-like this morning. Shaun Chipperfield, of course, though, won't be pleased with his break by going in off. And Chippy didn't find anything funny about the Joker over there clearing up.
No, but nothing you can do if you don't get to the table. It was a tough one for him to take, first frame, but we'll get more opportunities as the match progresses, you'd feel. Jimmy to break next. Jimmy's break has always been in fact for both players, but Jimmy will tell you he struggles with his break, and he's been kind of going through the ringer with it, trying to change it, trying to find it. Back end of last year, and you say he had that great run, that's where he was feeling really positive about his break. See where he is this weekend. Haven't seen any of his games so far, but he did cruise through the group stages. Well, that will do. Hit him like that every time, you'll be a very happy man. But he's dry. Can you believe it?
Yeah, Josh Kane had a break like that in the last match where The explosion was brilliant. The balls were going all around the table and you're just waiting for a ball to drop and nothing did. And then Carl Morris cleared up off that break as well. Of course, Josh did win the match in the end. But can Shaun Chipperfield clear up from Jimmy's dry break? The yellows are pretty open.
The regulation dot-to-dot finish here for Shaun.
Yeah, looking like both these opening frames are going to go against the serve. And a nice brisk finish from Shaun Chipperfield. And we are back level once again.
Brisk is the word. He does everything quickly, doesn't he? Very quick player out there, but that was a really nice first opportunity for Shaun just to get his cue arm going. One of those almost set up like a training drill, just kind of moving down the table, perfect connections, and he made it look very simple. Most of the top half of the draw has now been completed. Obviously the big two storylines are very much Tom Cousins and Craig Waddingham being knocked out. Also, Preston McGuinness knocked out Luke Gilbert. That's certainly a great result for Preston, but Luke obviously a Pro Series champion. He's right up there in the rankings. Phil Harrison's been eliminated by Aidan Hughes, one of the new professionals for this year, 6-3. Joe Prince eliminated by Rab McCulloch. So some score lines out there. All these are available on Ultimate Pool TV if you want to keep an eye on all the score lines as we go through the day across all the events. We've obviously got the British Amateur and the British Women's Open, also plate events as well, which you can keep an eye on. Oh, 2 for 2 here for Shaun Chipperfield.
It's quite incredible. 2 breaks, 2 in-offs.
I said that the break is the story for both these two, really, or something to keep an eye on. Shaun, normally, he can work those centre pockets pretty hard with his break, and he can lose the contact. And, you know, it's not to say, you know, he doesn't get the break right, but it's that if it goes wrong, that's what normally happens. But those 2 opening breaks were brilliant, and he's been kicked in off twice.
Well, Jimmy opting for the yellows, played his opening shot, and he won't be that pleased with that. He didn't mean to bump straight into that yellow. Effectively, leave himself a nasty shot into the middle. Should he even go for the finish now? He might even just elect to play safe. And that certainly wasn't his intention when he first picked up the cue ball. Can he make the plant from here? Oh, he can. Oh, what a great shot from Jimmy Croxton. He's knocked out the bad yellow as well. Well, well, well. Supervision.
Tough, isn't it? Struggling to see. I mean, go for a cutback double maybe. It doesn't look ideal. That.
Well, I think that yellow goes in the middle. Do
you think?
Yeah, I do. Well, I think he might leave that to his last ball because he does. Obviously, gets it straight onto the black.
Just saw a glimpse of it there on that last camera angle. But that's short of pace.
Yeah, he didn't want to be there. going to have to surely go into the middle. Well, Jimmy wants to play this pretty firm, get the cue ball off the bottom rail into that right-hand side rail. And I would suggest even go up to the top rail to come down to try and leave that last yellow. He wants to be behind it if he can be. But he certainly doesn't want to be sort of halfway up the table playing a very thin cup. So you're better off over-hitting this.
Beautiful line.
That's very nice there from Jimmy.
Yeah, great camera angle to see it. Yeah, it looked trickier than that main camera. I mean, it was still a delicate shot, but Jimmy was beautifully on it. This 8-ball for another run out. Job done. The Joker. 2-1 in front. Going well. Looking good out there. Look, you see there on table 14, Declan Brennan, one of the big favourites for the tournament. Kind of gone through the tournament fairly comfortably. Had a bit of work to do in his final match last night. Did lose a game on his way through. Had to just get the job done in the final game. He's playing Michael Hope, who we saw yesterday. He is 2-1 down right now to Declan. Back when you were playing the game, Tony, as one of the top players, did you make note when other top players were eliminated? What I'm getting at is obviously two of the very big favourites for the tournament, make no mistake, in Tom and Craig are out. You know, if you're a Declan or a Chris or, you know, Chippy or, you know, some of the other, do you note that and go, hang on a minute, or do you try and stay away from thinking like that?
No, I don't think you can help not notice that, because when it's somebody of the stature of Tom Cousins, Craig Waddingham, of course, tour winner last year, I think especially if they're close to you in the draw, because you'd be sort of, I know people say, I'll never look at my next round. That's a load of rubbish. People do look at the next round and see if you're in that quarter. But if you're in a quarter with Tom Cousins and then you hear the ripple around the room, Tom Cousins is out, you think, ooh, well, that's going to make my life slightly easier. But then you look at somebody like Cole Bedford who's beaten him, and you never know what you're going to get with Cole.
Yeah, and he can go on a run. You know, we've seen him in the semi-final before. He's capable of brilliance. Tell you, if you're looking at that in terms of sections of the draw, it's Chris Melling that was, in terms of the big name players, was the closest to Tom in the draw. They would have met had they both kept winning. It would have been a last 16 matchup for those two. But of course, Tom already eliminated. Cole Bedford now goes on to play Dom Cooney, and Chris Melling plays Andy Milliard, and the winners of those two games will play each other in the last 16.
Yeah, that'd be mouth-watering time, possibly. But it does go to show the strength in depth as well. You know, people say, "Oh, there's only 3 or 4." That's nonsense. There's only 3 or 4 that can win tournaments.
Yeah, that's not true. I mean, we've seen that with Ultimate Pool. You know, there are, you know, probably 16 to 20 right in the mix. It's just Tom Cousins, you know, wins at a high percentage. You know, Chris Melling's won a lot of tournaments. Craig Waddingham's now won a few. And, you know, they're players that win repeatedly, the ones that we talk about.
I think interesting, Declan Brennan and Tom Jones, right? I'm going to say these two because I was chatting with them both last night, and Declan Brennan's just moved to Liverpool, and he's now practicing a lot with Tom. And it'd be interesting to see how their games progress, and how it might lift Tom as well, because Tom's a fantastic talent, but a little bit, let's say, of a rough diamond. But if he's playing Declan all the time, I can see big things for Tom Jones coming very shortly.
Tom also travels to get some help from players as well. And he understands that the areas he needs to work on. I'm a big fan of Tom, and excited to see what he delivers. And of course, he now plays Kevin George, who eliminated Craig Waddingham. So that's the next challenge for Kevin. But Tom Jones, of course, will be happy with that as well. Key shot coming up here for Jimmy, just trying to connect these two together and having an access out for the 8-ball. tricky. Very tricky.
It's a bit of a thin cut. It will go. He's going to have to take the paint off this. And also, he's going to have to be very careful with the cue ball, because if he makes this cut, it's just so thin that cue ball's going to be travelling. Could even be bouncing. He's manoeuvred that very well, to be fair to him. This certainly is a different Jimmy Croxton to the one a year or so ago. Wow.
Yep, big one. Big moment, that. Jimmy, a great cueist. Very rarely misses much. That's a poor one. It's tricky, but I did not expect the miss. And from Shaun's perspective, it's a bonus as well. He's already written the frame off.
Grateful Shaun Chipperfield to tap the black in and level things up. And that really should have been 3-1 Croxton, but it is now 2-2. Desmond, as J-Mo likes to call it.
Yeah, he does go for a bit of that, doesn't he? Any other results we can keep an eye on? Scanning through. Anything of note? Vivek Mack, good win over Tom Kennedy, 6-4. Good to see Vivek back enjoying the game. A brief chat with him this morning, and he said he's back really enjoying the game again after a tough year last year. But basically, the top half of the draw is almost done and dusted. We're on to the bottom half, so a lot of the matches you see there in the mid games. Wowee, how about that for a break? Finally gets to keep the cue ball on the table.
Christophe Lambert and Rob Warren, that's a tight one there, 4-3 to Rob Warren. Another great clash for the last 64 match, isn't it?
Well, Shaun's turn to miss. That felt like frame ball as well. That was probably going to be the trickiest shot he was going to have to play in that finish. Big error from Shaun. This time it wasn't an absolute guarantee, of course, but just don't expect Shaun to ever miss. So, because he missed first ball, it remains an open table. Jimmy just needs to find a route here. Not sure if he needed that cannon, but if it goes bottom right, it definitely helps.
I believe it does. And this looks pretty simple now for Jimmy Croxton. Just wants to get this cue ball away from the cushion so he can get all his hand on the table and see all of the cue ball, because although he's not going to go too far with the white, he just wants to have full control to get onto his large yellow, which will make the black very, very easy indeed.
Has he just pulled it a little high? Or is it perfect just to screw back past the red? Oh, he's got to be careful. Yeah, just had to be careful. That red could have come into play. You can really use these pockets to create angles. Or avoid angles. Nicely done from Jimmy Croxton. Punishes the error from Shaun Chipperfield and gets himself back in front. Both players have made a mistake. Piece. Both punished. 3-2 to Jimmy. Gets to the halfway mark. Race to 6 here at the British Open. You just tell by the way that Jimmy's gearing himself up. He knows the importance of these breaks, and he really wants to concentrate to get that quality of contact. Just slightly gets it wrong compared to previous breaks and breaks out the full teapot.
I do love the full teapot. I have to say, there's been a few of those already this weekend. Hand on hip, stood there glaring at the pool table.
The two biggest, when it comes to the teapots, the two best teapots in the game, Jimmy Croxton and Rob Warne. They are famous for it.
Well, Shaun wanted to knock that yellow off the rail, but I think he's just pushed it a little bit too far. He wanted it, so it's a nice simple tap into centre. I think he's now going to have to just accept the fact he's going to have to take it long and into one of the corners.
Delicate control, isn't it? Jacking up, killing the cue ball.
I always just find it fascinating just watching Shaun Chipperfield cue, because it's just one swing. Bang.
Yeah, that was probably as much as he ever feathers there.
Yeah, that's quite, yeah. So, it is unique. And it works for Shaun. One of the game's big potters.
Decision to make here, because he's actually got more angle than he wanted. He's got an angle where you could play off the cushion into the red, or he's going to have to really load up with some side and stay underneath it. He's actually may even be forced into playing that shot simply because of how much angle he's left. I don't think he can kill it with side.
No, I think he's going to have to go into the red. Oh, that's a great shot. Oh.
If he's not on that yellow, he's been very unlucky. If he has to bend round, he could snooker himself. I think he's all right. Oh, he's not. Oh dear, that was unfortunate. Needs a bounce. Yeah, you could see it coming.
Yeah, you were bound with that, Simon. You fancied him to get the swerve, but he could not kill that cue ball by putting the spin on. Oh, he's going to leave ball in hand as well to Jimmy Croxton. He's been unlucky there, Shaun Chipperfield. That flick I mean, he played it so well as well into the corner. And you just wouldn't legislate for getting behind the red. This is a big frame. Get 2 in front for Jimmy.
Yeah, advantage of cue ball in hand, just gets to develop the 2 reds that were tied up. Now they're wide open for that 2 frame advantage. He's not happy with the angle he's got. Interested to know whether he'll take this in the middle, because if he's dead straight, he's perfect, but he's just going towards the other red. Screw past it, maybe? Yeah, nice. Does get the 2 frame advantage. Error from Shaun Chipperfield. A little bit unfortunate as well, has to be said, but Jimmy gets himself 2 away as we have another look at the arena, and also we can tell you what's coming up next. We move on to the last 32, and we do get to see Chaos Cole Bedford, who created the biggest moment of the day so far, knocking out the #1 player Tom Cousins. He will take on Dom Cooney in the last 32. Third time. This is not going Chippy's way. Tough to play against anybody in the game when you go in off your break 3 out of 4.
So far in this match, that the break shifts flattened Shaun Chipperfield. Keep handing the table to your opponent at the start of each frame. You know you're not going to be coming out the winner at this level. Jimmy Croxton getting plenty of table time at the moment because of Shaun's break. This is looking not great for Shaun Chipperfield. All those 3 reds go in the same right-hand corner pocket. Jimmy's going to get himself onto them right now from this ball in the centre.
Looks a touch high. He doesn't want to move the other reds when he plays this. Can he just... Oh, he can just nip it back. There you go. was actually all right. Another very good visit to the table, this from Jimmy. Just needs to, put the right positional shot on, early in the visit to get himself in line, and then just make sure of it, which he's done again. Really, sometimes with Jimmy, he can get himself a little bit lost, believe he can clear up from anywhere. And I think this is where the coaching really helps him in terms of the coaching he's doing and thinking about the game. He has put together a bunch of really good layouts and patterns, making a game look simple. As well as the British Open, we've also got the Women's British Open happening as well. You can see some of the matches in action there. Two of the big favourites playing on tables 12 and 13. Kirsty Davies and Champs there on 12, just racking the balls up ready to go. Amy Beecham. Amy currently 2-2 with Sophie Gibbs-Nichols. And Kirsty Davies is 1-0 up over Yusra Belazri. And how about that for a draw? If they win those games, they would play each other in the quarter-finals, probably. No, definitely the two favourites for the tournament alongside Harriet Haynes. Harriet is 2-1 down to Danielle Randall. That's in the other half of the draw. Loses the cue ball touch compared to a few breaks he's had. He is looking for that squaring it up and coming up the middle of the table. No damage done. Middle of the side cushion. And he gets his first opportunity to go ahead and win this match. And I wouldn't say it's a good opportunity, but there's definitely a clearance on. Every red goes. Maybe he goes yellows. The two yellows bottom right are tricky. That's why I was thinking reds. Two yellows at the bottom, two yellows on the right-hand side, whereas every single red went. Would you have gone yellows there, Tony?
No, I'd have gone reds with you.
Oh, it makes me feel bad.
Well, that's what I'm here for. No, the two yellows at the bottom of the table are clearly an obstacle. And I don't particularly like the two yellows above them either. But like you say, the case of reds is they're all open. They're all a single pot without having to break anything out. There you see Jimmy having to play a containing shot, though there's a pot you fancy that Shaun will knock it into the centre straight away.
If he plays that shot, he's got to get the red right, the yellow right. The cue ball right on top of the red, isn't he? This is a fairly comfortable pot for Shaun.
I wonder if Jimmy's just thinking, why didn't I choose reds? It was certainly the better colour.
Yeah, and he was perfect on the red to top right to get on the one at the top of the table. It was like, I know that there's 4 on cushions, but they're all accessible. Shaun's snookered himself again. He was just trying to get underneath that yellow. He knew he was going to contact it, but he was thinking just a gentle one on the bottom side of it.
And what Shaun has done is left Jimmy on the 2 awkward balls at the bottom of the table as well. So it's a double whammy. And Jimmy now has the balls in sight to get over the finishing line. And he has been good value. He's played well, but Shaun Chipperfield's break has been his worst enemy.
Yeah, and often the story, but if we're honest, it's only been one bad break he's hit today. It's just poor form really on the break more than quality. Bigger story for me for Shaun has been missed a pot a couple of frames ago and he snookered himself twice. In a game of a high level, that's the margin, isn't it? Jimmy's made one missed pot, so one error, maybe a safety error you could say at the beginning of this frame. He's not going to get punished for.
Pretty much anywhere in the centre of the table here for Jimmy. And this is job done. Just going to come round the back. It's red and black. And that's pretty good.
Job done, Jimmy Croxton. Very solid performance indeed. He knocks out another one of the favourites for the competition.